Hello there. My name is Inga Brower from the Healing Revolution, and today we're going to talk all about the distinction between boundaries and defenses. Boundaries as empaths are 100,000 million% required. Defenses, not so much, but we confuse the two sometimes, and that gets us into some trouble. So let me define them to start. Boundaries, I like to see them as really these energetic structures at the edge of our bubble, of our energy field, that are hyper intelligent and are capable of deciding on a moment's notice what's allowed in and what's not allowed in. If it's not allowed in, it can either be sort of invisible to that energy, not even being able to find you, or alert you that you need to do something. So you need to leave the party, or you need to say before you go any further, and then set a verbal boundary. So boundaries can be done in a way that doesn't require a whole lot of emotional energy. So they're really more guarding our worthiness, the integrity of our being. Of course, sometimes emotions can come up that can alert us that a boundary has been breached and that it needs to be reset. But when it's working well, we just feel respected and seen and like it's okay to navigate the world being who we are. We don't have to protect ourselves overly much. It feels pretty smooth when our boundaries are intact. Now, defenses or guards are a bit different. So that's when an energy comes into your field and hurts. Hi, Shauna. Hi, Erin. So a defense is when, so really when an energy comes into your field and does something that isn't super comfortable. So really comes in and hits some of the guards or the defenses we've set up in our energy system so that our heart, for instance, doesn't get hurt. So for empaths, many a time, our hearts are so sensitive and so capable of feeling that we also create all these little guards and all these defenses rather than boundaries. So what happens is we don't have great boundaries and we find ourselves in positions where people say things that aren't respectful. People demand things of us that aren't respectful. What else could that be? People say things around us that aren't respectful. All of that because our boundaries haven't done their job of navigating us outside of that situation or speaking a boundary so that doesn't keep happening. Now, these defenses, they're kind of these last resort, don't get into my heart. And really, they can kind of react kind of quickly and explosively. So that's when you get bouts of bursts of anger or irritation, or that energy releases, but you don't express it. So you just feel annoyed and on the inside. Or when there's too many of these guards or defenses, we start feeling resentful and we start not being really able to access our heart. And then we know that we're sensitive, but our heart isn't doing that exquisite version of the sensitivity. Rather, it's these little guards and defenses that are doing the sensitivity. So then we get to use the word sensitive in the bad way that it's sometimes used. So somebody says something as a joke and your little defenses are overprotective of your heart, overreactive, over intense. And then we run into some more problems because that's uncomfortable for everybody around us, for ourselves as well. That's when, I know for me, when I'm overtired, I get like that, and it's not so fun for Sean to be around. It's I just get so irritable, and I can start noticing, I'll be warning, I'm I can take one more of these and I will explode. It's not great. But when you notice that you're getting defensive or guarded, and what that is, it's kind of like a closing up. It's like putting a hard shell around your heart. When you notice this, it can be a good idea to ask yourself two questions. One, is a boundary needed here? And then if it is, then set it in a calm, respectful way. People respond to those so much better anyway, rather than feeling they just set you off and it makes no sense to them. Rather, if you notice those triggers happening, you can just notice, okay, a boundary needs to be set. Either I leave the situation or I speak this calmly. That's hard to do. It is, but it's entirely possible. And the other thing is, you might think, okay, I'm getting really defensive here. This probably needs some attention. I probably need a little bit of healing care for myself. And then you spend some time with these triggers, these defenses, these guards, and you see, what are they protecting? What are they guarding? What is the danger they're reacting to? And what do they need? What do they need to feel okay moving forward? So what they need being okay moving forward might be to put a boundary, or it actually might be to say, sorry, I overreacted and I'm realizing I need some rest. I need some alone time. I've been overstimulated and it's a bit too much for me to take right now. So I'm gonna maybe really create some alone time for yourself. It might also be that you haven't been sleeping well. So you might notice that those places that are getting triggered are overreactive because your sleep hasn't been great. So then you can take responsibility for maybe turning off all your devices an hour before bed, maybe turning all blue lights off, meditating before bed. So you can really take ownership and responsibility for that. So that those little triggers don't need to be so overreactive, because they're not bad. They're really trying to defend and protect your super exquisite, sensitive, loving, lovely heart. It's just not always doing it in the best possible way. So that's it for today's 11 a.m. video. I'm doing one every Monday. And even when I'm going to be in Mexico in, what is it now, 16th? Almost 2 weeks time. I'm going to keep my Monday morning commitment here and on Facebook. And if you want more of this sort of empath course material, you can sign up for the Self-Love for Empaths 5-day course. It's entirely online. You don't have to go anywhere, and it's entirely free. So I'll find a way to post that link around here somewhere. All right, have an amazing week, and remember, boundaries before guardedness, before defenses.